So excited to be back doing webinars. I've definitely missed doing them here at the store. So this is a great way that we can still be involved here. So tonight we're going to talk about collagen versus protein. We're going to talk about the different types of proteins, different types of collagen, the products out there, what you should be looking for. And as Mike mentioned, please use that Q&A feature either on the top or the bottom of your screen, and I'll be able to answer your questions. So it looks like many people here are looking for hair, skin, and nail support, joint support, and then bone health. So some of you are also looking for muscle building and weight loss, but hair, skin, and nail and joint support seem to be the dominating two. So it just helps give me an idea of, who my audience is and what you guys are looking for. So let's start by talking about protein. Protein is a macronutrient. Macronutrients are things we need to eat in the diet in large amounts. So there's macronutrients, which are proteins, carbs, and fats. And then there's your micronutrients, which is kind of all the other omega fatty acids and vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And those types of nutrients are more micronutrients. We don't need as much of them. They're all very important, and certainly protein is very important. Protein is made up of different amino acids. So whenever you eat a protein, that breaks down in the body to the amino acids, and then the amino acids are really what our body uses to build muscle, to help with healthy blood, to provide structural support, skin, hair, and nail support, responsible for internal organ. It aids in wound repair. It's very healing. So protein is really, I think everyone really thinks that, oh, protein muscle. But most of our body, in fact, our bodies are made up mostly of water, secondly, protein. And that is just because all of our cells and tissues and enzymes, hormones, some of the immune receptors and things like that are all made up of protein. So they're very important to get in the diet. We get them through meats, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy. You can certainly do a vegan, vegetarian diet and get adequate protein by utilizing nuts and seeds, soy products. You could also add powders and supplements, and we're going to get deeper into that today. There's always a debate on what is better, animal protein or vegetarian protein. And I used to say, back at the beginning of my nutrition career, we were taught that you have to, if you're vegetarian and you're doing beans as your protein source, you have to combine them with something like rice, because the amino acid profile, you're missing things. Most vegetarian proteins are not complete proteins, meaning they don't have all of the essential amino acids. So you'd have to combine them. We now know, research is showing that as long as you have them within the same day, meaning you can have beans for lunch and rice for dinner, that will be okay. Your body will have time to utilize all of those amino acids and utilize them as a complete protein. So vegetarian, vegan protein sources, I feel, are just as high quality and just as useful in the body as an animal source. Let's talk about supplemental proteins, types of protein powders. You'll find dairy sources. Whey protein, I would still say, is one of the more popular, especially if we're talking about, bodybuilding and going into the gym. Usually you'll see whey, which is very rapid absorbing, or a casein protein, which is a slower absorbing protein. There's also egg white protein, which is a nice alternative because it's still very well utilized in the body, but it is not, for those that have issues with digesting whey, you can do something like an egg white and not have all of those issues there. There's plenty of plant protein sources. It makes me laugh every time I go to the store. I either see a new type of plant-based milk like flax milk or oat milk or hemp milk. They're making milks out of everything. They're making proteins out of everything. I didn't even know cranberry protein was a thing until a few years ago. So you can get good plant proteins, and I really like blends. I like when they have some brown rice and maybe pea protein and pumpkin seed versus just one type of protein. And that's really true of anything, even whey. We don't eat one food. We don't eat chicken all day for every day. So when you supplement with a protein, I think it's important to switch up your sources, because then you're exposing yourself to different foods, and increasing variety is important because we get other nutrients from all of these protein sources that will come into play, and it's important to get a mix of those. There's also bone broth. Bone broth is trending, you know, within the last few years. I think 10 years, nobody would have known what I was talking about, but by now, you might have seen bone broth either in the soup aisle in stores, or you've seen products that are bone broth-based proteins. And those are proteins that they're getting from chicken or a bovine source, which is a cow source, or sometimes they'll use, usually not as much pork, but you can also find marine sources, so fish sources like cod. And that's another source of a protein. It's a big world out there, the world of proteins. How much do you need? This slide probably took me the longest to do because I was thinking about it. And whenever someone finds out I'm a dietitian, I either get how much protein do I need or how can I lose weight? And to ask a dietitian how much protein you need without me asking you anything else is like asking your mechanic what's wrong with your car without them even seeing it. It's hard for me to answer this because there's a lot of other questions I want to ask you. But in general, you could figure out about 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. So to get kilograms of your body weight, you just divide your weight in pounds by 2.2. So a 150-pound person would need about 68 grams per day. Can you have more safely? Absolutely. Certain people demand more if they have wounds that they're trying to heal, if they're really athletic, if they're trying to build muscle, if there's any type of weight management that you might want to have a higher protein kind of ratio in your diet, then that would go up. And I would say up to maybe 1 gram per pound of body weight. So a 150-pound person could eat up to 150 pounds or 150 grams of protein a day safely. There were reports, and I always read concerns over the kidneys and is protein really safe? And honestly, our kidneys, unless you have a chronic kidney disease or some sort of kidney issue where you need to be on a protein restriction, protein is a very safe thing that you can consume. So what do people take protein powders for? Well, they can use them with working out, either in the beginning to help fuel the workout or after a workout to help aid in recovery. They can use it to gain weight, but you could also use protein to lose weight. So I'm going to talk about how you do that and what's the difference between the two. There are vegetarians and vegans that just can't get enough in their diet. You know, it's a little bit more difficult if you're not eating the higher sources of protein like eggs and fish and meats, but you can still do it. You just have to try a little bit more. I have a lot of clients that go vegetarian or vegan and they forget to pay attention to their protein that they're taking in. And so here they're eating more maybe noodles and pastas and breads, and they didn't realize how many carbs they're eating and not as much protein. So we just something you want to pay attention to.
So I'm jumping on. It looks like Nicole's having some problems with her audio. So sorry, we can't seem to get away from these technical issues. I see the little things. It says she's trying to get back.
Can you hear me again?
Yeah, I can hear you. So I think they
can. You hear me?
Okay.
My phone I always use my phone instead of using the internet because I think it's more stable. And here it just cut off. So
Okay.
I apologize. I think I was talking about vegetarian and vegans needing proteins, and that certainly is something they want to pay attention to. Older populations, you know, our seniors and people that may have different things like they're not moving their bodies as much, they're sitting in one place, so they can develop things like different wounds and bed sores, and that can be really taxing on the system, and they have a much higher protein demand. Burn victims have much higher protein demands. Any sort of injury usually equates to a higher protein demand. So it doesn't have to even be a major thing. So those are the different reasons why you may want to think about using a protein. But what are the proteins you should choose? Let's talk for a minute about when you can use different proteins and why you should use them. So let's start with the pre-workout, post-workout people. So whenever you think about what to eat or what to take before a workout, the number one thing you want to do is make sure it is easily digested, because the last thing you want as you're trying to, work out hard is to have stomach issues, have to be running to the bathroom, have trouble with food that's trying to digest while you're trying to work out. It will be very difficult to do that. So number one, when you're doing a pre-workout product, easily digested. I also like it to have a little bit of branched chain amino acids. So BCAA on there stands for branched chain amino acids. Branched chain amino acids are 3 amino acids: leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And they have been shown to help with muscle fatigue, to help with improving performance, helping with muscle building and recovery. So that's a great thing. They're very easily utilized. I want to see that in a protein product. So the Plant Fusion, the first product you'll see on the left, Plant Fusion Elite Activated Peptide Protein. I was really excited about this product because most of the pre-workout proteins that I was finding are heavily whey-based, and that's certainly fine to do a whey-based, but I prefer a plant-based protein, and I just loved the idea of this, where it's giving you about 30 grams of plant-based protein. It's got 6.5 grams of branched chain amino acids, which are usually missing from a plant protein type product. And it's got some prebiotics, it's got some digestive enzymes, other things that really help it to assimilate and digest well. And it's a very, very clean product. And it has these plant peptides that are broken down much more rapidly, which usually equates to better muscle building. So I thought that was a great product. And you can certainly do that and should be very easily assimilated before a workout. Then there's the Vital Choice, the Clean Fit Whey Protein. This is a grass-fed, non-GMO whey source. Whenever you are getting a whey protein, not just any old whey will do. You want to look for the sourcing. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from grass-fed, pasture-raised cattle, or is it coming just, they're not specifying? If they're not specifying, it is not coming from grass-fed, pasture-raised cattle, because they know that's a selling point. They have to pay more to get that sourcing because it's more expensive, and they will want to promote that. So you could usually find that very easily on the product. So this Clean Fit Whey, I love it. There's not a lot. I actually put a picture here of the unflavored one because a lot of proteins have stevia or other things to sweeten them that you just may not want prior or after a workout. And this one does not have any, and it comes in multiple flavors. So that's a nice one that you could use pre-workout, or you could use post-workout and maybe add some carbs in there. Maybe add a little bit of raw honey or something to drive up the carbs, because after a workout, we want to replace both protein and carbs. The longer you work out, the more endurance. So a marathon runner, someone that's doing 6 miles, is going to need more carbohydrates than someone that's just doing a 30-minute yoga class or something like that. So the longer you're working out, the more intense it is, the more carbs you should eat post-workout along with a good quality protein. So you could do this through foods, or you can do this, I think a lot of people love a protein because it's really convenient, and you could add whatever you want. The Garden of Life Plant Sport, in my opinion, this plant-based protein is one of the best tasting protein powders. I really love it. You could just mix it with an almond milk or a coconut milk, and it's got glutamine, it's got branched chain amino acids in it, it's got 30 grams of organic, non-GMO, kind of a combination of different plant proteins in there. And then they put in this muscle recovery blend that has really high antioxidants, including things like tart cherry and goji berries and turmeric, which is great for inflammation. So that's a nice kind of almost like a 3-in-1 product where you're getting a good something that's a protein source, you're getting those glutamine, which is really good for recovery and soreness, and you're getting this makeup of anti-inflammatory and high antioxidant fruits. When you work out, you build up inflammation. So anything we can do to reduce that is going to be a key to keeping your joints healthy and really your whole body. So those are some pre-workout and post-workout proteins. Let's talk about weight loss. How do we use protein for weight loss? If you are, I have a lot of people that come to me and they're so proud that they're doing smoothies, and I ask them to describe their smoothie and they go into this whole recipe of a whole banana, and then they put yogurt, and then they put their protein powder, and then they have some apple slices and some berries. And I'm sitting there thinking, you are eating like a 600 calorie smoothie and not even realizing it, because nobody would eat a banana and a bowl of yogurt and have a cup of berries at the same time. You would eat a banana and then you would wait a little bit. But when we blend it up, those calories can really, really add up. So you don't want to just add in a ton of calories when you're using protein for weight loss. You also want to make sure that there is a fiber component, because when there's fiber, it helps keep you full. So this is a product I have yet to find, and this product has been around a long time. It's still one of my very favorites when someone comes to me and wants to utilize a protein for weight loss. It's high in protein, about 28 grams. It's high in fiber. It's got less than a gram of sugar. But you've got to use this as a meal replacement. You cannot just eat everything you normally eat and then add in protein, because you will increase your calories, and most likely that will either not change your weight or it could help you actually gain weight. So if you're using protein to gain weight, you do it on top of what you're already doing. If you're using it for weight loss, the idea is to cut out somewhere in your diet where maybe you either had a meal that you didn't always make the great choice. Maybe every day you were going to the drive-thru to get breakfast, or maybe you were grabbing a Starbucks that had more sugar after work, or whatever it is. Replace that moment with a product like Raw Fit, and now you've decreased your overall calories, you've increased your protein, which itself can help with weight loss, and you're adding fiber, which can stabilize blood sugar, which I can't tell you, even if you're not diabetic, most people in this country have an issue with blood sugar. It can give you that kind of evening out feeling, so you're not crashing because you've grabbed another snack or a meal that wasn't so great. So use this in place of a meal, and be careful what you add. A product like this is really just meant to add a liquid to. I prefer like an almond milk or coconut milk or something versus water. I think it tastes a little better with those. But you don't really need to add anything else to it. At the most, if you wanted to add like a spoonful of almond butter or a half a cup of frozen blueberries or something, that would probably be okay, but just watch that you're not adding too much more, because that'll defeat the whole weight loss benefit. Maybe you're someone that just wants to increase your protein in your diet. Maybe you're vegetarian or vegan, or you're someone that you don't eat enough and you want to make sure that you get more in. There are proteins that fit every need. I couldn't possibly have the time to go through all the ones we have just in this store, let alone out there in all of the stores. So I'm just going to highlight a few of them. The Garden of Life, the one on the left, organic plant protein, is a great protein that you could add to smoothies, that you could just drink on its own. It is a grain-free plant protein. So it utilizes more seeds and things like cranberry protein versus a brown rice or another type of a grain protein. So that's a good thing. There's also ready-to-drink proteins. If you didn't want to bother with mixing it, we have these, the OWYN, which stands for Only What You Need, which I thought was kind of a cute name. My kids actually like these. I'll give one of these to my son after baseball practice or something where I'm not able to mix anything up. And both my kids like the taste of them. I think they're very clean, and you're getting a decent amount of protein in there. So that's another option if you didn't want to mix something up yourself. New Chapter's Organic Plant Protein Plus is wonderful for those that have issues digesting protein, because they're adding some digestive enzymes. There's some organic superfoods in there, and it's just a nice, clean, organic, easily digested plant protein that you could utilize. There's also bone broth proteins. And as I mentioned earlier, you're seeing more bone broth products in stores. And one of the reasons is we realized that our grandparents and great-grandparents really knew what they were doing by utilizing the bones of the animals and cooking them. They did it out of necessity because they didn't have the convenience of stores like we did. But really, from a health standpoint, it makes a huge difference. Bone broth is a source of collagen, which we're going to get into next, and glucosamine naturally occurring. It's a very healing type of protein. Usually, like in this type of product, they're getting it from chicken or a bovine source. So you're getting a very different type of protein than you would if you were doing a dairy protein or a plant-based protein. So it works really well in meals. I actually like bone broth protein, mixing it into foods. I have some people that just are sick of shakes. They don't want to do smoothies. They're over it. Or maybe an older individual, or maybe someone that's gone through cancer and their appetite is just not there. So whatever we can pack in the littlest amount of food, we want to do that. And the bone broth protein, the unflavored one, at least the pure, you could add into things like soups and stews and chilies, and really wouldn't even know it's there. If you've got a picky kid that won't eat enough protein, you could sneak some of that in. So I prefer that protein in more savory things versus a lot of the other ones on the screen, which have a little bit of stevia or some other things that are more of a sweeter kind of flavor. So those are just some thoughts. There are also protein bars out there. In fact, the same company that makes that Raw Fit meal replacement makes a Raw Fit protein bar, which again, high fiber, high protein. I love it. I prefer to eat versus drink, so I often do the bars over the shakes, and really help. They really fill me up. I like them a lot. So let's switch gears a little bit. That was protein, and we talked about bone broth being a source of collagen. So what is collagen? Why are we seeing collagen products now everywhere? Collagen is actually the most abundant protein in the body. It really is the thing that is, if you think of the glue or like the structural support, that's what collagen is. It's a mixture of these certain amino acids, specifically proline and glycine are two of the main ones in there, and as well as hydroxylysine, and that's not one that you'll find usually in foods. So it's that structure. It's holding the body together, essential. It is found everywhere. It's found in our bones, in our teeth, skin, tendons, all over the body. And it's an important thing that we need to, again, anything where we're talking about structure, from blood vessels to hair, skin, and nails to joints, we've got to have collagen. We need to get enough. So I just have this little visual on here because I think it's very confusing to figure out, like, what's the difference between the two. So protein is kind of this umbrella term. Of the term protein, there's all these types of protein. Collagen and elastin are two that you probably are most familiar with. Again, collagen is the main one, the main type of protein we find in the body. There's fibrin. There's like 30, 40 different types of proteins. I didn't want to bore you and put all of the names on there, but these are kind of the main ones. So collagen is a type of protein. What differs one protein from the other is the amino acid combination that's in them. So that's what makes a collagen different from an elastin, different from another protein source that you might be running across. Why do we want collagen? Collagen is incredible. It really is something that, especially for the skin, for skin health, it can be really incredible. It helps with skin elasticity. When you think, whenever I think of good skin, I always think of a baby, you know, with their like completely smooth, chubby cheeks that are just like, you can squeeze them and they just bounce back. There's so much moisture and there's so much elasticity there. And one of the reasons is because they're building tons and tons of collagen there. So it's not only important for the skin elasticity and firmness, but also hydration. It has to do with the collagen actually almost being like buckets where it's holding on to water. So it's really important. Also important in the joints, anywhere there's structure. So we think of a joint, think of a knee or a hip or an elbow. If you find that things are getting stiff, if you're having any sort of joint degradation, collagen can be helpful to help support that. We need more collagen so that it can help support and cushion and add that structure back. Collagen makes up a significant amount of the bones. About a third of the bones is collagen. We are so focused on calcium when we think of bone health that we forget the bones are made up of much more than just calcium. And collagen is a big thing that can help make up a strong bone, add to that structure. When you think of osteopenia and osteoporosis, it's almost like a honeycomb where there's bigger gaps then in between the cells, so it makes the joint weaker. We want to add that structure back to make them tighter junctures and make it more dense. And that's something that collagen, along with other things, of course, but that is something that it can certainly help with. And then there are some studies supporting collagen for preserving muscle mass. So for older individuals, for anyone that's having muscle loss, collagen can be something that you can use for that. Collagen is not considered a complete protein. I meant to say that earlier when I had the little umbrella slide on, just to kind of drive that point home. It does not contain all 9 essential amino acids. So when we're weighing out, do I want a protein or do I want a collagen, you just have to look at, do I want more of skin, joint, and bone benefits, or am I taking it more for like high muscle gains or for weight loss? Because that would probably be more protein. And I'll review that again more towards the end. So collagen is very important. Where do we get it? Well, we don't get much in our diet. The standard American diet is mostly muscle meat. And if you didn't realize that that's what you're eating, that's the part of the animal. When you eat a steak, when you eat a chicken breast, it's muscle meat, which does not contain, or contains very, very little, if any, collagen. So we're missing out. We're spending more money to get these special cuts of meat with all the fat trimmed off and everything else trimmed off, and maybe that's not the right thing to do, because before about the 1940s, 1930s, we ate a good part of our protein intake from these other sources that had nutrients like collagen and hyaluronic acid and glucosamine in them naturally. These sources are things like the feet of the chicken, the scales of a fish, organ meat, tails, and cartilage and bone. So I don't know about you, but those don't sound all that appetizing to me. So I'm still probably going to eat my salmon without the scales, but I will take a collagen product, and it just, for me, it works better. So we're not eating the parts of the animal that are giving us collagen anymore, and it only comes from animal sources. There is no such thing as a vegetarian collagen, though I will talk about some vegetarian collagen boosters when we talk about products. So this is really why when we talk about a need for collagen, we're not getting in the diet, number one. Number two, we lose collagen about age 25. This is really doesn't give us that long of time with building a good amount of collagen, because age 25 is pretty young. We're losing 1% to 2% a year. So we just start losing it, and then we're not eating it, so we're not replacing it. On top of that, the body can make collagen. It can make collagen with vitamins and minerals and amino acids, and also eating actual collagen, but we're not doing that. So you could see how it can become more important to add in a collagen. We tend to be lacking those supportive nutrients. So specific amino acid combinations, things like vitamin C. Vitamin C is a key to collagen production. It plays a role in the different reactions that help the collagen molecules change into what it needs to be to actually be utilized in the skin. So vitamin C is a really important kind of cofactor when it comes to talking about collagen. We also need minerals like iron and zinc. Those are important too, and you may not be getting enough of those in the diet. I know that this time, in everyone's concerned about immune, you might be taking vitamin C and zinc. So that's a good thing. But up until then, where were you getting your vitamin C and zinc from? You may not have been getting enough in the diet. Those are all easy things, vitamin C, iron, and zinc, that you could test for, ask your doctor to test for whenever you go in for your next blood test, just to see how your levels are and see if you have the building materials, the supportive nutrients that your body needs so that it can continue to help build collagen, and you can kind of fight against that loss a little bit. We also do things that inhibit collagen. If you thought you were going to come to one of my webinars and I wasn't going to beat up on sugar, you were wrong. Sugar is just something I can't say enough negative things about. I try not to be too negative of a person, but we don't need any. We need no sugar, no refined sugar, no white carbohydrates. And on top of the inflammatory effect that sugars have on the body, they damage the brain, they damage the joints. They also inhibit collagen. So you want to try to minimize those foods as much as you can and balance them then with foods that are higher in fruits, like antioxidants and vitamins and minerals. So things like non-starchy vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. Those are the foods that are going to help your skin, help your bones, instead of the foods that are not only not helping because they don't have the nutrition, but they're actually working against a lot of those good things in the body. Too much sun. I was trying to research and I just kept finding too much, don't get too much. And I was like, what is too much? It seems like any more than 30 minutes out in the sun is too much, and staying away from that time, that peak sun time, that like 12 to 2 time, those are the moments where collagen can actually be inhibited. Those UV rays penetrate deep into the skin and cause a lot of damage beyond just causing skin, like a sunburn. They could also cause a deterioration and inhibit collagen production. And then, of course, smoking. If you are someone who smokes, or you know someone that smokes, you may notice that, especially around the mouth or around the eyes, like they usually have more prominent wrinkles. That's a lack of collagen. That's a lack of that elasticity and that kind of usefulness to the skin. Smoking just accelerates that process. So if you're looking to fight against that, stay away from smoking or secondhand smoke. If you're not the smoker, but someone in your family is and you're around them a lot, that's something you may want to change. So what about, we know collagen matters. We know we want to take it because we lose it. We're not getting enough nutrition. We may be doing some of those 3 things that inhibit collagen production. But what kind do you want? What are the different types out there? And this is a thing that some companies will use as a marketing tool, but some companies are legit in using the different types for different benefits. The most common when you see a collagen product, hands down, is type 1, as well as type 1 and 3. Those are the forms that you'll see in the hair, skin, and nail products, because that's the most abundant type of collagen in those. It's also the one for the bone. When it comes to joint health, joints and eyes, type 2 is one that is not always in a product that you may want to look for. So types 1 and 3, you will most likely find pretty easily. If you're looking specifically to utilize collagen for joint support, as well as some of the other things, look for a combination that also has type 2 added, because that's not as common. I wanted to just mention too, you may have seen a product. Now this would be a pill. This would not be a powdered collagen. This would be a pill that would either be called BioCell type 2 collagen or UC type 2 collagen. This is a very different type of product than the other powders that we're talking about. You don't need a lot of UC type 2. You only need, like, the studies I think were like 40 milligrams or like less than 1,000 milligrams, certainly. If you're taking a collagen powder, I want to see grams of it. I want to see 10 grams, 5 grams, 20 grams. So that's the difference. If you're confused and you see a product that has UC type 2 collagen in it, it's a different ballgame. You can't really compare that to other collagen products. It's a very specific type in there. Okay. So what are some good brands out there? Collagen, these are just your basic collagen powders. And all of the ones I have on the screen come from grass-fed sources. That's super important. Most collagen products come from cows, so, or a bovine source, you'll see it as. We want to make sure they are grass-fed, pasture-raised. Why is that important? Because what the animal eats is in them, and we want it to develop anti-inflammatory components and natural components. We don't want the animal to be as stressed and things like that that will affect us when we eat that product or that piece of meat. So I'm really big on sourcing, and if, like I said, if a company's doing it, they will put it right on a label because they know it's better. So look for those. And all of these companies, the Vital Choice brand, Garden of Life, Vital Proteins, dose to dose, they're very comparable in the amounts of collagen that they're providing. The other thing you want to look at is something that has peptides or hydrolyzed on there. The reason this is because just a basic collagen powder will not be utilized the way you want it to be in the body. So it's critical that it says something like a peptide or a hydrolyzed product. Those are the same thing, it's just different words. That tells you that this product has been processed in a way that you're going to be able to utilize it. So that's a big thing that we want. What if you are looking to target collagen a little bit more on whatever effect that you want? I did a little experiment. I have terrible nails. They break, they peel, they're not very strong. And so, I don't know, maybe about 8 months or so ago, I decided to try a collagen product, and I chose the one on the far left, which is the Garden of Life Collagen Beauty, because I liked the fact that, well, number one, I wasn't allergic to anything in it, which is always my driving force to choosing a product. But two, I liked the support that it had in there because it has things like biotin, silica. Silica adds like that strength. It's a good source of collagen. And then vitamin C, another builder, and it's that type 1 and 3. I think the product also, you just mix this with water. It's like a strawberry lemonade. I think they make another flavor, like a cranberry flavor. I think it's really good. I just mix it with water and drink it. And I was blown away by the results that I had. My nails were stronger. And this was, usually I don't like get people's hopes up and talk about how quick they could see benefits, but this was like in 3 weeks. This was not where I was waiting months and months for a product to work. And it takes a long time for nails to grow. So I was not expecting it to help me that quickly. And I just really noticed a difference. So then I ran out a couple months ago and just didn't get around to buying more. And I was looking at my nails thinking, why have I not picked up another bottle of that? Because it just helped tremendously. So right after I give this talk, I'm going to pick some up. And I think it's one that if you're concerned with or you want to focus on skin, hair, and nails, that's a really nice combination product that you can try. If you're focused on joint health, like I mentioned, you want to look for that type 2. So that Garden of Life also makes one, the collagen turmeric, which has turmeric, which helps a lot with inflammation. We know that's a big driver of joint degradation. And then you're getting the 3 types of collagen. You're getting type 1, type 2, and type 3 in there to help with joint mobility, structural support. Really a nice product. I've heard very good things about the taste with that one as well. That's more of you can mix it with water. I think it's like an apple cinnamon flavor. So that's a great, again, kind of multi-purpose product. There's also bone broth collagen, where the collagen comes from bone broth, where if you were doing a bone broth protein, you get a little bit of collagen, whereas if you do a bone broth collagen, you're getting all the collagen just from a bone broth source. So it just depends on when you're choosing a product, do I want mostly protein, but then a little bit of that collagen in there? That would be more of a bone broth protein product versus one that specifies about the collagen. And then there's a combination of the two, like the Garden of Life product here that combines collagen with protein. So you're getting the best of both worlds here. So those are some great combo products. We certainly have a lot more. We have collagens that have CBD in them. CBD is something that people use for stress, for pain issues. So that's another option. We have some that are more keto friendly that are mixed with MCT oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglycerides, which are a really good fat to be using if you're following a ketogenic diet, which is high fat, low carb. You can even find a collagen that fits into that type of diet. So we've got them all here, and you certainly can find a product. If you have questions on what product, I'm not sure which one to go with, give us a call or stop in to see us, because it really can make a difference. We can help navigate you towards the right product. What if you are vegetarian? What if you are vegan, or you just don't like the idea of doing an animal source of collagen? I mentioned there is no such thing as doing a plant collagen, and that is still true. But what you can get are these collagen building products. And I'm really excited to try these. I think instead of getting the Garden of Life one again, I'm going to try one of these collagen boosters instead of the collagen, and just compare, just kind of see if I like one more than the other. But these are designed to provide all of those things I mentioned, this specific amino acid profile, as well as these really cool patented ingredients like white tea extract, which has a guaranteed ORAC value. ORAC is the ability of a product to withstand free radical damage. I talked about UV rays being damaging. That's because of, and smoking, that's because of the free radicals that are damaging our cells. So if we can do more ingredients that are high ORAC, that are better at defending against that, really from a heart, from a brain, from a skin, from a joint perspective, it's going to help with all of those things. So those are all selling points of that white tea extract. It also has the Saberi amla fruit extract. This is something that has been shown to protect existing collagen in there. It is stimulating collagen and elastin building in the skin and the joints. So that's a really nice antioxidant product. Skin Acts 2, which is from melon fruits. This has been shown in a study to boost elasticity and luminosity. And basically women that were part of the study felt like their skin was much better. They had like all good things to say about it. And then phytoceramides, which help make up the natural oils, keep the collagen in your skin. So thinking about like the collagen beauty on the screen will help more with kind of that glow that you might be looking for, really high antioxidant and protecting the skin. The collagen builder is probably, if you're going for the benefits of more collagen, that product adds in a plant protein, a specific plant amino acid blend that you can utilize with that. So I think they're cool products. I haven't personally used them yet, but I'm excited about the thought of just giving the building blocks rather than taking the thing itself, because it doesn't always translate. Just because you take collagen doesn't always translate to increasing collagen in the body, where sometimes when you give it these building blocks, maybe that would be just as good, or in some cases better for people. So check out those products as well. I think they're really well formulated. They are put together well and have a lot of good combination of stuff in there. So what's right for you? Talked about a lot, talked about protein, talked about collagen, and a lot of products in between there. So just to review, if you are looking to really increase muscle mass, help with wound healing, or just generally increase dietary protein, because remember, collagen is not a complete protein, you would want to get a protein product. So a product like the plant-based sport or a whey product or anything that is a protein product. If you're utilizing a powder for weight loss, you'd want something that's higher in fiber to help fill you up, help fight cravings, replace a meal with it, and that way it will lower overall calories. It can help stabilize the blood sugar. That Raw Fit is a great one. If you're looking more for hair, skin, and nail support, joint health, anything like that, a collagen product, and maybe depending on what you're going for, if you want all of those benefits, get just a collagen and make sure it has type 2 in there. If you're looking more for hair, skin, and nail specifically, get a product targeted for that, because it will have other things in there, vitamin C and biotin and silica and other ingredients, higher antioxidants that you probably want for hair, skin, and nail support. And then if you are vegetarian or vegan, or you're just looking to get more antioxidants in, or those building blocks, you could choose a product like the Plant Fusion Collagen. And that will, again, it's not giving you collagen, it's giving you those building blocks. And so those are all wonderful options. I always, try to shout this from the rooftops, and I'm a victim of this all the time as well. As you could see, when I said I stopped taking that collagen, I ran out and just didn't buy more. You have to be consistent with this stuff. Protein breaks down very quickly. We use it within a few hours. So you have to that's why we have to constantly eat. If you don't eat for, a few days, you start tapping into muscle and breaking down muscle. We've got to be utilizing these products and be consistent. If you don't take them and you don't take them regularly, don't expect to see benefits. They won't. So give these time. This takes a little while to kind of generate and help to actually see, especially when we're talking about hair and skin. I think it might take some time. You'd want to be doing these products for at least 4 to 6 weeks at a minimum. And that can really give you the time to see what kind of results you're going to be having. And as long as you're not having any sort of adverse reaction, which I didn't really talk about, but you typically, unless you had an allergy to something that was in the product, these are usually very well tolerated, very safe types of products. These aren't anything that you should have concerns with other than the normal kind of, oh, that upset my stomach kind of a feeling. So other than that, these are really well tolerated. And then I have our website if you want to purchase any of these products. So shop.vchoice.com, or you can just go to vchoice.com and click on the little shop icon. If you are not familiar with Vital Choice, if you've never been here and you are local, stop up and see us. We have an incredibly educated staff. It's the reason I've wanted to be a part of this store for so long. It's just really a great environment. We have tons of options. We can also ship. So if you're not able to make it in, give us a call, or you can shop online at that website, and we'd be happy to help you.
All right. Thank you, Nicole. I think that was really good. Yeah. I did want to encourage or ask anyone if they have any questions, please go ahead and submit those now. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. But I did want to say, excuse me, just a couple comments real quick. First of all, please keep an eye out for a post-webinar email. There will be a link to tonight's video in there, as well as a survey asking you what we did well and what we could have maybe done a little bit better. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what went well and what didn't. So also, excuse me again, for attending tonight's webinar, everyone in attendance does have access to a special coupon code that will give you an extra 10% savings off of any of the products that Nicole mentioned. And that is in addition to any sale prices or anything. And that's good in store or online. That code will be in the email, but I'll give it now as well. If you just type in the word collagen 221, you'll get an extra 10% off, and that would be in the on the website. So I will open it up now, see if we have any questions. I do have one, Nicole, that came in. Question is it better to take different types of collagen at different times?
So that's a really good question, and that's something that I think I've asked all of our collagen companies to get their perspective on. And there's really two schools of thought. There's one that if you're taking a specific type of collagen, you don't want to mix it, because essentially if you've taken it in the body, it will just break down to those amino acids. So it's not really, you're not getting the benefits if you eat them with a protein source or you mix them with other types. Then there's the other school of thought that says the opposite of that, which is yes, because they break down in the body to amino acids, it doesn't matter when you take them or how you combine them, because it's just providing the proper amino acids and it will kind of know where to go in the body. So I haven't really seen crazy amounts of research comparing the two. Like if you just took type 2 versus if someone just took type 3, separately or together, would they get the same benefits? So I don't know 100% the answer on that, but it seems to me that more products are gravitating towards a whole food approach, which would contain multiple different types all in one. And that's something that the Dr. X proteins, he does like the bone broth based or like the multi collagens. and more of our collagen bases are using multiple types in them. Some of the beauty types you'll find just specifically 1 and 3 because they feel like we want to give you the most of the type that you're going for the benefits of hair, skin, and nails. So we want you to have as much of that as possible.
Okay, good. I think a related question, but I want to ask it just to make sure. The person is asking, can you take more than one protein or collagen product at the same time to get the benefits that each one can give? So I think that's similar to what you were just saying, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss something in that.
Yeah, I think that it's okay to do that, but we have to remember that as far as being able to utilize lots of whatever it is you're taking, I would say the same thing if you were asking me, should I take 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C at once, or should I split it up through the day? And my answer is usually it's better to split it up because our body can only utilize so much at a time. So if you're taking a protein product that has 20 to 30 grams, and then you're adding 20 grams of collagen in that, that might be overkill, and you might utilize that product better to split it up. So I don't know if that fully answers your question, but we could only utilize so much at once. You can't break down that much. So it's important to try to space it out if you can. If you're a person that it's like, look, I'm doing this 1 time a day and that's it, then you could think about even doing half doses. If you've got 2 products you like, you've got a protein and a collagen you like, you can do half doses of each and get a good combination product that you've customized in that.
I think you're peeking at these or something because you just rolled right into the next question I had really well, but I want to ask it as well. Carol asks, I drink a protein smoothie each day. It's a plant protein. Can I add a collagen powder to this, or should they be used separately? And I think you were just kind of alluding to that as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
So I think if it's a plant protein that had 14 grams of protein in it and your collagen product has 5 to 10 grams, you could probably mix them. But if it was a higher protein product, like the raw fit has 28 grams, and then I have a 20 gram collagen, again, I would split those up. If it's, you don't want to do too much at one time, just like you wouldn't want to eat well, maybe you would want to eat it, but you shouldn't eat like a 9-ounce steak. You're better, just once a day. You're better off having smaller amounts of meat a couple times a day.
All right, sounds good. I wanted to see if we have any other questions. I think you did such a great job, Nicole, honestly, of building so many answers into your presentation. I'm not sure we had too many more, but let's give another second or two to see if we have any come in. And if not, then we'll just wrap it up. Okay. Well, then, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Nicole, thank you. Great presentation. And everyone, keep an eye out for that email. Okay. Thanks, Nicole.
Bye.